Raider Nation, what's going on? You guys are watching the Raiders Report, and today's show is presented by Panda Supps. If anybody out there needs some awesome workout supplements, I want you to go to pandasupps.com and use code Raiders to save 40% off, and every single person that uses code Raiders at checkout is also going to get a free Panda Supps protein shaker. So coming up here on today's show, I asked you all to go ahead and submit your questions for a Raiders mailbag on our YouTube community, and I picked some of my personal favorites. This first one's coming in from Vegan Water. Are the Raiders playoff contenders without Ruggs? My simple response to this is yes. Is the loss of Ruggs going to hurt this team? Obviously, he got elite speed. He's a hell of a player, and he was really transcending to be a very good dude who had 469 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 24 catches. But you're 5-2 in the AFC West. The Chargers, they've lost 2 in a row. The Chiefs definitely aren't as good as what they've been in the past. I have no real threat whatsoever when it comes to the Broncos. And then when you look at the AFC playoff picture here, the Tennessee Titans, they're sitting at 6-2, but they just lost Derrick Henry. The Raiders have the tiebreaker over the Baltimore Ravens. If there's a team that I think is the most likely to be the number 1 seed after it's all said and done, I'll probably say the Buffalo Bills. I still believe the Raiders can take down the Bengals. They have the tiebreaker over the Steelers, and the final game of the Raiders season is up against the Chargers, who currently hold that number 7 seed. So can the Raiders still make the playoffs, and are they still playoff contenders? Yes, I absolutely believe that they are. Now, if you guys haven't already, please go ahead and give me a follow on IG at Mitchell Renz 365. And if you don't see your question on here, or if you want me to ask your questions, or if you want to ask me questions, please hit me up. Give me a follow on Instagram, Mitchell Renz 365. I have the next 2 days at work off, which is by far the best time to get a hold of me. And then also, because I'm going to be posting a lot of stuff the entire week anyway, so seriously, hit me up. And one more thing, if you see your picture on today's show, take a screenshot and tag me. All right, let's go to the NaomieTotalKnockout. Do you think OBJ will be a good fit for the Raiders? If not, why not? Do I think OBJ from a talent perspective would be a good fit? Yes, I do. Am I worried that he would be a locker room issue? Of course, he's been a locker room issue literally everywhere he's gone. You're not going to get the Beckham that you had his first 3 years with the New York Giants, where all 3 of those years he had over 90 catches, over 1,300 yards, and over 10 touchdowns. If he's 100% healthy, he can be pretty solid. Again, I don't know if you're going to have a healthy OBJ. As I am recording this video right now, Deshaun Jackson, he went unclaimed. I would actually rather take Deshaun instead of OBJ in terms of overall contract value, but there is definitely a chance that OBJ gets released. Now, here's the other question, because if you don't have a lot of confidence in Zay Jones, you're sitting there saying the Raiders need to go out and they need to add another receiver, because it's Bryan Edwards, Zay Jones is the number 2, Hunter Renfrow, sure you still have Darren Waller and Foss Moreau, but your other receiver is Zay Jones. If you think that Odell Beckham is better than Zay, then you're like, well, yeah, it does make sense for the Raiders to go out and get an OBJ. As much as I like Zay, you have to really be honest with yourself. Type OBJ, he is the better receiver. This next one's coming in from Erick Ostorga. Wide receivers the Raiders should target in the offseason. It's kind of mind-blowing to me. Just a few weeks ago, I got asked this question. I'm like, man, Raiders don't really need receivers right now as well as the young guys are playing. With the whole Ruggs situation, there's definitely going to be an opening. Luckily for Las Vegas, there's a lot of talent out there. Now, here are my top 5 wide receivers that are going to be free agents in 2022. At number 1, Davante Adams. He should be the absolute number 1 priority for the Raiders, for Derek Carr, to get him in the silver and black. Allen Robinson comes in at a close second. Then there's a little bit of a tier break between Courtland Sutton and Chris Godwin. Could have gone both ways there. And then Michael Gallup. But if you're looking for a true number 1, it's Davante Adams, and I really don't know if it's all that close. Now, we make videos during the season, but what I think really sets the Raiders Report apart is we give you free videos every single day. January, February, March, April, May, June. It doesn't matter when it is. It's why they call me 365, and then there's leap year. I might change my handle to 366. But to be real with y'all, we are the number 1 most watched Raiders channel because of the dedication, because of all the videos we produce, and we are trying to get to 100,000 subs. So please go ahead and just sub, baby. Let's go to Dillan Erickson. You're next up here on this Raiders mailbag. Do we now have to focus on drafting a wide receiver this year? If so, who are some options? Wide receiver, again, could be a potential area that the Raiders look at. However, I'm going to address the offensive line, the interior offensive line, before I go out and pick a receiver. But if you were to ask me who are the top 5 receivers entering the 2022 NFL Draft, here are the names, and I don't have these ranked in any particular order. I've done a little bit of watching on some of these guys, but as soon as the year's over, that's when I get into the film room. That's when I start watching tape. That's when I really start to figure out who the Raiders should go out and get. But I got Chris Olave from Ohio State, Drake London, which I know a lot of y'all always ask me about, Garrett Wilson, he's nice, Treylon Burks, he's got that big body, big frame out of Arkansas, and then Jamison Williams out of Alabama. Now, all these young guys, you're hoping that they can once or sooner or later turn into a wide receiver one, right? I mean, that's what you're hoping for with some of these top players. I don't know what their workout regimen is, but I can guarantee you this. If they're struggling working out, I can guarantee that Panda Supps Pandemic is going to wake you the hell up. And to everybody who's watching right now, if you want to get into the gym, if you want to start working out, I understand it's only November, but those New Year's resolutions are going to be coming around, and if you need an awesome gift to put underneath the tree as an awesome stocking stuffer, go to PandaSupps.com. Use code Raiders to get 40% off. And on top of the strongest pre-workout that I've ever had, it tastes great. You can get it in peach mango. You can also get it in sour gummy. But just to kind of even put the cherry on top, every person that uses code Raiders at checkout, not only are you going to get 40% off, you're also going to get a free, yes, I said free, Panda Supps protein shaker. They just released them. They got their brand new logo on them. I know the guy that owns Panda Supps, he's a diehard Raiders fan, and he's like, how can I hook up the nation? I think that this is a pretty damn good offer. This comment's going to be, or the link's going to be available for y'all in the comments. It's also going to be available in the description, but there's plenty of other products too. There's nootropics, there's products to help you sleep, there's BCAAs, which help your muscles recover, protein. It's all at PandaSupps.com, but use code Raiders, save some money, and get a free shaker. All right, let's go to Trey Lance. I don't know why you're watching the Raiders report, but hey, I appreciate it. Should we pick up John Brown? I believe we should just stick with Zay, though. So, again, I am actually filming this video on Thursday, so keep that in mind. The Raiders have one roster spot remaining after they went ahead and they signed Dylan Stoner to the active roster, so you have 4 players. Now, I actually think out of all the free agent wide receivers, not counting Deshaun Jackson, because now Deshaun Jackson, he's going to be the top priority after getting unclaimed. The next priority, I actually think, is John Brown, who knows the Raiders system. He worked with you guys in the offseason. Sure, it didn't go so well. He was on the team. He asked to be released. He asked to be released because he realized that Henry Ruggs and Brian Edwards and Hunter Renfrow were going to get more snaps in him. Well, now that situation is definitely much different. I also think Zay Jones outplayed John Brown a little bit. So if John's willing to come on the team, battle it out with Zay again, then they can go a mano-a-mano and ultimately figure out if it should happen. But we are talking about receivers, and it still is like, man, it still, I can't really believe everything that's happened this week. But should the Raiders sign a free agent wide receiver, I want you to go ahead and type Y for yes, or you can go ahead and type N for no. If they do go out and sign somebody, I'm going to be going live, and we're going to be talking about it. Let's go to VG Goated. Should the Raiders move Darren Waller to wide receiver? I tweeted this out on Twitter. Obviously, that's where you tweet. At Mitchell Renz 365, and it's got over like 2,000 likes on it. It's got close to 200 retweets, which tells me that it seems to be a pretty popular idea. And if you can keep Waller on the field more, it's not a bad thing. The only reason why I'm going to go ahead and say that I do like this idea is because if we're talking about foursomes, which I've never had, but we're talking about foursomes, I really think that you have option A and option B in terms of who are going to be the skill position players out on the field most in a passing situation. So here's option A. You have Brian Edwards as a receiver. You have Darren Waller as a receiver. You have Hunter Renfrow as your slot receiver, and then Foster Moreau as a tight end. Personally, I like option A. Or you can go with option B, which is Brian Edwards, Zay Jones, Hunter Renfrow, and Darren Waller. No disrespect to Zay, I just think that the offense would be a little bit more dynamic with Waller and Foster on the field than Zay and Waller on the field. That's just my personal opinion. You know the show isn't just about me. We don't have the amount of subs. We don't have the interaction that we do because if a show was just about me, I wouldn't get very far in life. I can tell you that right now from doing this Raiders show as long as I have. But out of those two, I want you guys to go down in the comments. I'm going to be looking. Type A or B, which is the better option. Let's go to Jordan Perez. If we end up getting a new coach next season, How likely are the Raiders to keeping Derek Carr as number 1 quarterback? Well, I've gone on record and saying a few times that I do really believe if you bring in a new head coach, a lot of times the new head coach wants to try to figure out a way to get his new system in here or try to get a new quarterback to come in. If the Raiders, who are 5-2 right now, make the playoffs, if they win a playoff game, and if they go beyond that, I just don't know if there's a scenario where you're going to be able to convince me that Rich Bisaccia shouldn't still be the head coach and that Derek Carr shouldn't be the quarterback. I'm going to give DC a lot of credit for stepping up over these past 3 weeks, being a leader of that football team. I'm also going to give Rich Bisaccia a lot of credit for really just manning the ship, because all the crap that's been going on from top to bottom, it's been a lot to deal with. And a young team, a lot of young teams would fold. This team's been, I really think, been able to handle all this stuff going forward. But if you do bring in a new coach, I think honestly the best case scenario in every single situation is keep Derek Carr on his current contract at $19.9 million. If you want to draft a young dude, please go ahead and do so. Bring him in, have him learn underneath DC. Basically what the Chiefs did with Patrick Mahomes and Alex Smith, and then we'll kind of take it from there. Now, if you guys love the hoodie that I got on, or if you're looking for some brand new Raiders gear, Thanksgiving's right around the corner. Also, Christmas is right around the corner. The holiday season right around the corner. And we got some awesome deals going on here thanks to Autumn Abyss. If you go to autumnabyss.com, you can save 20% off by clicking Enter the Abyss. So there's literally a web page when you go to autumnabyss.com, right? You've heard of the internet, right, Dad? You click Enter the Abyss. All you got to do then is enter your email, and then bang, 20% off. Plus, probably my favorite part about this company, not only is it owned by 2 diehard Raider fans that are probably the cutest couple out there. Shout out to you, Daryl. And but they give back to the Raiders community, and they give back by donating to the Tom Flores Foundation. So every hoodie that's bought, like the one I got on, goes to the Flores Foundation. For what happens in Vegas starting the town, that goes to the Marshawn Lynch Foundation, which helps young kids in Oakland basically get involved in sports and get proper education. So I got awesome gift ideas. autumnabyss.com. Click Enter the Abyss, and you'll be able to save 20%. All right, I believe this is the last question on today's mailbag. Jeremy's giving me the nod, like the RC nod. What do you think about bringing in Golden Tate? He's a very good slot receiver and is healthy. I wouldn't say he's a very good slot receiver. He's a slot receiver, and he's kind of like that old broken slot machine that you see in the back of a Las Vegas casino. You're like, do I really want to pull the lever? Personally, I'm not going to pull the lever on Tate because I do think he's a little bit washed up. He's also had some reports in the past where he hasn't been the best teammate. And also, we don't really need a slot receiver. We have Hunter Renfrow. And some people are like, oh, you can't have one. Well, you kind of can. I'm going to have Renfrow. I have confidence in Dylan Stoner. So, honestly, if we're going to go out and sign a receiver, it's not going to be Golden Tate. It's going to be either Deshaun Jackson, John Brown, and if OBJ hits the waiver, all I'm saying, it's going to be pretty wild. Now, again, if you want to ask me your questions, please go ahead and hit me up on Instagram. Also, we're doing the voting process for the new Chucky head. We're still trying to figure it out. I'm going to let people vote for the entire week, and then next week we're going to go to the final 4, and then we're really going to break it down. So if you want to vote on what the new Chucky head is going to be, my pin tweet at Mitchell Renz 365 has all the selections. There's also the polls on the YouTube community. I put it up on Instagram. The Instagram voting is done just because Instagram, for whatever reason, only lets me do one thing at a time. But I want to get you guys voting on the new Chucky head. I do want to be able to figure out something going forward, so please go ahead and vote on my Twitter, on YouTube community, at Mitchell Renz 365.